Hello everyone, my name is Matthew Flack and I'm a second year video game designer from AIE in Melbourne. And today I'm going to quickly walk you through some of the fundamentals of MOBA character design. I am very passionate about MOBAs, um, most notably League of Legends, but I have played Dota 2 as well quite a bit and other games such as Smite. And I was the lead designer on a game called Superstar Skirmish, which is a twin stick controlled MOBA that we designed for our final project in AIE. So the first thing you need when you're designing a MOBA character is the idea. And the idea can come from anything, so that's why it's important just to brainstorm and come up with as many ideas as you can. And try to limit yourself. Don't try and stay within a confined box that people have sort of said that you need to. Really just grab from anything that inspires you. So if you want to make like a huge ogre that is for some reason completely agile and can do backflips or something, write it down, because even if you don't end up going with that idea, there is a lot of really great ideas that can branch from those things that you think of. Another great thing that you want to think of is a hook for your character. So what I mean by a hook is you want something that your character is known for. So if you think of like Dota 2, you've got Pudge who has a hook, which is no pun intended, but that is his main ability in the game. Is he has a hook and he's known for being like that. Same with someone like Malphite in League of Legends. He's known for the explosive nature of his ultimate, where he comes in and knocks everyone up in the air. Try and keep it simple when you're designing your first champion or your character. You don't want to instantly go for someone like, let's say, Invoker, who has all these spells that you combine together and you make all these great abilities, which is a fantastic design in the long run, but can be extremely difficult to implement. So I'll show you an example of a character that I've picked from League of Legends Annie in the next slide, but maybe try and start something that has, a passive and 4 targetable abilities. And if you want to create something further down the line that's successful, go from there. Research is extremely important. Find the MOBA that you like the most and really sink some time into looking at the different characters in it, what makes them unique, what makes them special, and why these characters have stood the test of time for so many years now. And it's important when you're designing as well, just to set up a time frame and make sure you stick to it and you finish it by that time, be it 3 hours, 3 days, however many time you want to spend on it. Just make sure you have a time that you're going to finish and a deadline. Now down to the actual ability itself and the design of it. You got to remember that your abilities are the most important thing of your character, because it's what makes them them. If you think of people like Leona in League of Legends, all her abilities are about sunlight and protecting people, because that's the kind of person that she is. She wants to protect people, she wants to be at the front, and she wants to make everyone safe. So your abilities are going to be what brings your character to life. So it's very important that you have a real think about it and make them connect to your character. Once you're designing your abilities, think of a goal. So you want to be your character goal to be something like, okay, I want my character to be able to stun everyone. That's the main goal of the character. Or I want this character to be able to shoot people from a distance safely, but be very, very weak when they come next to me. Or I want my character to be able to protect everyone, like Leona. You want to have a goal for your character and have a reason for people to be playing them. Ability interaction. You want to make the abilities flow into one another. So when people are playing them, they feel like very fluid, they feel like they actually connect well, that they work. Just like I was saying with Pudge before, his abilities flow together perfectly. He hooks someone, he puts all the rod on him, and then he just dismembers people, and that happens so quickly and so fluently, and that's why he's such an iconic character. So just having a quick look at some of the abilities for Annie. So instantly her hook is what she's known for, is her bear. She runs around with a stuffed bear, but her ultimate is she summons it into a huge bear. which is a great concept. It's very visually appealing. It looks great. But if you also look at her passive is a great form of design in the fact that it encourages people to be casting spells all the time. Because she's a fire mage, you want to be able to be casting your abilities consistently, you want to be casting them regularly, and through the ability design of the stun, instead of just having people stunning people with one ability consistently, it sort of encourages you to use your abilities to do different things, like with the Q. It encourages you to poke people with it and hit them, but if you last hit a minion with it, you get your mana back. So it's all about the flow I was talking about before, where you can like destroy a minion, get your mana back, and then incinerate someone and put some damage on someone, and then from a very simple, and Annie was one of the first characters that Riot ever released. From a very simple starting point, they've created a character who has been instrumental pretty much throughout the whole game since it's come to fruition now. So this is a great form of design, and it's very simple and it's very basic, but it is extremely effective, which is why I'm saying it's great to start simple and to work your way up. So the third thing that you want to consider is adding some depth. When I say adding depth, you want to try and give your character a story and a background. Character lore is very important, I believe. It is one of the reasons why people play a certain champion. Is what draws them to initially is probably the visuals, but once they look into the visuals, they're like, okay, what is this person's story? Why do they look like this? And a lot of the abilities can really lend themselves into the lore as well. If you think a lot about someone like Yasuo from League of Legends, he's a lone wanderer that uses the wind to fight people, so he's always using his abilities to dash through people, and he's always by himself. He's always on the move, and that is gone through his abilities as well. What you want to do once you've given your character sort of a bit of a backdrop and a bit of meat in their story, you want to have a visual draft. So even if you aren't good at drawing or creating actual sketches of characters, at least do a mood board. And what a mood board is you want to get things that inspired your thoughts of what the champion would look like. So I mean, obvious one is for someone like Fiddlesticks, who's like a scarecrow. Go online, get some pictures of very scary scarecrows, and then get dark magic and sort of put it all into one document so you can look at it and keep yourself on track with the inspiration of what you thought initially. And finally, consider the character balance. And what I mean by that is when you're creating a character, you want to be realistic in its expectations that it could be something that you release into a game someday. You've given them a stun that lasts 20 seconds that hits everybody in the game, and it has a 5-second cooldown. That's not realistic. It's not gonna work in the long run. It's just too strong. So maybe tone it back a little bit, and it'll help you design other characters in the future as well by keeping it in check. That being said, though, you don't need to be fanatical with it, going down to like the 0.5 of a second, or the ratios of like how much damage an ability does and things like that. That is stuff that you can think of way further down the line if you're actually needing to tweak your game to a very high-end standard of play. But when you actually design the character itself, just worry about, the ability and what it actually does. Now, hopefully by now you've got a pretty good idea of what your champion is, your character, you've got your abilities all laid out, it's great, you're feeling really good about it. It's really important to actually write it down and to create a document. So, I've got a really good example here of one of the documents that Riot has when they release characters. So this is a champion reveal. This is obviously an extremely high-end level form of documentation, but it has a really good layout and shows you exactly what you need to know. So you could have like your mood board, something up here, and then just a quick draft of what your abilities do, the name of them, what they look like visually, and then just some thoughts of what they would do in the game, the goal of the character, what their hook is, pardon me, and explain it all in a document so you can keep it down. And just flesh it out and make it look good as well. So, have a few pictures in there from your mood board. You know, even, you don't have to be a good artist. Just try and get some visual representation so it's not just a wall of text that people get sick of looking at. Share it with others. Can be a really difficult thing to put your work out there and to show people, especially if it's something that you're very passionate about. What you need to do is show it to others and get their feedback and take it constructively and improve on it for next time, because it's the only way that you're going to get better is by sharing your ideas with other people and getting their thoughts on it. Finally, you want to post-mortem and critique your experience. So if you got the feedback and you weren't that happy with the character that you created, that's fine. The first few things you're going to make aren't going to be, complete success. Just make sure you learn from them and that you're honest with yourself in your evaluation, because it'll make you much better designer. And finally, you want to make sure you keep designing. So if the first one didn't work out and you weren't that happy with it, don't be, put down. Just put it to the side. It's all learning experience. Pick up another one, come with a new idea, create another experience, show it to others, see what they think, and eventually you make something that, you'll be really, really happy with. So I hope this helped. It's quite broad in the different concepts of design. But thank you for watching. If you've got any questions, just leave something in the comments down below. And you can also catch me on Twitter. So thank you very much. Hope you have a great day.